What up, y'all? This is Alex, and today we are going to be doing Regret by Shinichi Atobe. So with that said, let's start. We're gonna get this weird sound right at the beginning. So you can see that I put crazy sample / weird sound. Basically this just kind of grabs your attention. You go, what was that? Huh? What's happening? And then the beat comes in and it's like, don't worry about it. So, yeah. And basically, once this beat comes in, you're going to have a kick hitting on every 4 on the floor kick, so it's hitting every beat, an off beat, a little bass line, and some chords. And this is the backbone of the entire track. You're going to hear this a lot, and it's going to be great. So here we go. Let's just listen to this loop. It's a 2-bar loop that repeats. Cool. So that's all it's going to do. Well, that's not all it's going to do, but that's the main idea of this song. So the bass is just going do, 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 do. And the chords, it's a 4-chord progression. Do, 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 do. And yeah, it's really great. And a lot of what we're doing in these videos is talking about like how arrangement's working. And so honestly, I had a late night the other day, which is part of why I chose this song, because there are few changes in this song. It's very subtle, so it's kind of just easy, and it's like it's really pleasant to listen to this song. It's a really nice chord progression. And yeah, so let's just listen for a bit. So let's just listen until we hear something very big change, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So don't worry, I got you. But like I said, on this song, unlike on some others, there's not going to be as much talking, which, you know. Cool, right? So that was 1:25, and that was very simple, but it was still interesting. So I have some thoughts on this. So basically, because of the effects, sounds like there's some delay. It sounds like there's, some little effects happening to the main synth line, the main chords. Let me write chords instead. And I think it's important to point out, because sometimes, just based on how the chords were played or based on how he was affecting it, even though this is just a simple 2-bar loop, sometimes you notice different sounds of the chord more than others. Let me just play this a couple times, and then I'll specifically point out exactly what I mean. Because basically what I'm saying is that you hear this is just a 2-bar loop, but because sometimes you hear certain parts of it more than others, it has like an internal sense of variation, because like this one is slightly different than this one, which is slightly different than this one, which is slightly different than this one, which I think just like has it so that your brain has to, or gets to rather, enjoy hearing this more and more, because it doesn't sound exactly the same. So let me listen for a second. Might take me a second, and then I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, so this is what I mean. So let's look at this third chord in the sequence. This one here. You'll notice in this first chunk and in the second chunk, you can hear this tone that's going. But you don't hear it here. Or at least it's much more muted. I know this is subtle. Hopefully most of y'all hear this. This is the tone. So here you can hear the sticking out more, and it's actually bouncing a little bit. It's going like but here you can't hear it as pronouncedly. Here it's more muted. So like maybe again, please comment, because I know this is like such a, like, this artist at least is super classic, and there's a lot of, I know he's really mysterious too, but if y'all know any history or stuff on how exactly they record this, please feel free to comment, because I always find it cool to read, and I'm sure everyone else appreciates that. But yeah, so maybe this is like a situation where the filter is toned up, like, so maybe there was more frequencies allowed in at this point, and then here it was more muted. But again, I just want to point that out, because as you're listening to this, and I do think it becomes apparent due to the chill nature of the chord progression and the bass, that I think because it's not some like super banging track, at least for me, that allows me to like treat this more as like an ambient work. And because of that, I also do have more patience as a listener, because I kind of just getting enveloped in this like really like charming kind of mystical vibe. I don't know if charming is the right word, but I'm talking a lot. So basically, I just wanted to point out that each one of these sounds a little different, and because of that, I think you hear different things, and so it stays interesting longer. So yeah, if I hear of any more like concrete examples, I pointed out this versus this. I'll point them out, but there's more things like that happening, and so that makes this loop a little more dynamic than just if it was doing the exact same thing every 2 bars. And yeah, so eventually we get this hiss hat to come in, and it is panning a bit from right to left if you have headphones on, so you'll hear it in your right headphone here, and then you'll hear it in your left over here. At least generally more right, generally more left. Not totally 100% right and left. But yeah, and so it's cool. The chords are still doing their thing. They're changing a little bit. This hiss hat comes in, and then we don't get another change until they drop out the bass line here. And this is where we stopped, so let's just keep playing for a while. I know I've been talking for a bit, so let's just listen for a bit. And again, just listen to these chords, and maybe notice and see if you can hear how each loop sounds a little different. And all we're doing here is dropping out the bass line and then coming and bringing the bass line back in. Very simple. So yeah, listen for those chords and just, listen to the track. Let me rewind it a little bit. Okay. Sorry, my space bar is messed up, so it just like brought me all the way back here. But basically, it's that butterfly keyboard on the 2018 MacBook. It sucks. And I can't complain. It's still a dope computer. But that keyboard is annoying. So I can't complain about that. All right. So basically, we had the 16th notes come in over here. Again, pretty simple what we got happening. We got, this loop's repeating. So why not add something else? 16th note comes in. I like it because it adds a little bit of pacing. Just gives a little bit more momentum, a little more, makes it feel a little quicker, which is cool. And I do like just how these sound too. Like this whole track, I mean, compared to a lot of, I think we haven't been only doing bangers. We've been doing some more chill stuff too. But I just like how the drums are kind of small, and like the hat's really small. And there's something just from a mix perspective that this track is it's just really like friendly. It's just like, please listen to me, or it's more like, you can listen to me if you want. I'm just over here, and it's really great. But yeah, so the 16th note comes in, giving us some more momentum and stuff, and just keeping it interesting. I wanted to point out another one of those little variations. It may have been right here. We're gonna keep listening a little bit, and once I can't remember where it paused because my keyboard messed up. So let's just keep listening, and I'll bring up more variations as they come. I mean, the concept's simple. It doesn't really matter which ones I show you. I already showed you one. Just so long as you know it's happening. So yeah, don't worry, I got you. You are going to notice at this point, the hat is going to start having some sort of like panning effect. Sounds like it's going a little bit left and right, which, at least when you're listening on headphones, makes this track sound, it almost makes it sound like an added a new element. It's not the biggest change, but with a track like this, where very little like massive changes are occurring, I think this little change is significant enough to point out. So, because at least as I'm listening, I'm going, oh, something happened. And that once you say, oh, something happened, that kind of gives your brain this reason to like get used to the loop again, because now it's hearing it in a different context. But yeah, let's keep going. Alright, so hopefully you heard how the hats are changing. They're a little more exciting now. Again, just if you didn't listen specifically to that 16th note hat right here, and then right here once the panning thing starts. You could even say like maybe it's doubled in the other headphone. I don't know. It's just, it's a little more dynamic in the mix at this point, and panning is part of it, or at least like over here it's mostly in the right headphone, and here it's in the left a bit as well. So yeah, just listen for that. If you don't have headphones, that might be a little tough to hear, but it's happening. Feel free to go back and forth on that a bit. But yeah, so by the way, if you're enjoying this video and you want to see MIDI files, you can send me an email. The email's in the description, and it's right here, wilcox.alex@me.com. Also, please follow me on Instagram if you're enjoying this, at AlexWilcox. And yeah, we're close to 1,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate it. I have a really cool thing I'm going to do for 1,000 subscribers special. I think y'all are going to love it. Basically, I'm going to do a breakdown of an entire album. I'm not going to tell you which one until it comes out, but it should be great, and I think y'all will dig it. But yeah, give me some time on that, because it's a whole album, so it's going to take a second. Let's point out one more thing with the chords. So I noticed another situation where I could hear like an obvious change in the sound of each chord in the loop. So I think it was right here. Maybe, give me a second. Okay, yeah. So you'll notice in the second chord of the sequence, at this point and at this point, it has a to me it sounds lower down. I'm just gonna A-B it and then hopefully you notice it. But just listen to how the chord sounds here compared to here. See, this one's more like underwater. It's swaying around more. This one's a little more cut and dry. All right, y'all had to have heard that. Hopefully y'all could tell the difference there. And that's really important because these sound so different that, again, this just really helps add this dynamism. Is that a word? Yeah, I think so. To the loop. And it's really cool. And, you know, like I said, when I first broke this down, I was like, what is he doing? I mean, that was why part of why I started breaking down tracks was when I just heard a track to be like, what's going on? Like, I want to know how this works so I can not be intimidated as a producer and I can, you know, just like have some confidence and know how these tracks work. But even on this one, it's, as I was bringing it down today, I was like, yeah, this one's weird. I got to really figure out what's going on. Yeah, so please comment if you're noticing any other observations that you think are worth talking about. Again, we really appreciate it. And yeah, I love it when y'all comment. I do read them. And it's cool because I learn some things sometimes. Plus, you know, what are we doing, right? We're all just trying to learn and make some music and stuff. So, I don't know. I always love it when the comment sections people are talking there because I like the idea of like helping build this little community. But yeah, all right. So let's keep going. Oh, and let me mention this. Probably the best melody you've ever heard is coming up soon. Here we go. I almost feel bad that I made that sarcastic joke because I was just joking about this melody because it's only 2 notes, which is totally fine. But I just love how, like, it just sounds so simple. The sound is so simple. It's just 2 notes. Like, if one was being a jerk or was being kind of, like, is elitist the right word? One could be like, oh, it's just a 2-note melody. But the thing is that this is great. It's just awesome. So, yeah, I hope y'all know that I really like this. I like this whole song. And my joke was made simply as a joke. Because, you know, it's just a very simple thing. All right, y'all get it. So another thing to note, the 16th note hat, which is panning here, is now going to stop over here. I just note that because, you know, with how this track is taking so much time to breathe and just let the melodies and let the chords play, this is just another way that you're getting a little more variation. Again, it's a subtle thing, but you're having the hat pan for a while, then you're letting it not pan for a while. And, you know, that just adds a little difference, keeps us interested. And let me see what we got to go at the end of this. All right. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot. There's still some more stuff we might be able to talk about, but we're going to listen for a while again. this is a big change. This is something. So we have another crazy sample, like we had the intro. It's not the same one. So here's the intro one, and then here's this one. I just put it in the same track because they are similar. So yeah, this happens. A lot of the drums drop, and this will be a big change because now we're just going to appreciate these chords and bass line for a bit. Alright, really cool. Those drums are coming back. And this is the last time I want to point out a difference in here, in the chords, just because, hopefully I'll get it at this point. But, I know it's helpful if I point out a couple things. So, notice on 143, notice how this chord sounds. Smooth. Notice how this one sounds. It has more like little ticky-tacky sounds. Maybe let me try this one. It might be even more dramatic. Yeah, so it's kind of like this delayed, and it just has a bit of attack, just a little bit of attack. But this one, smoother. Okay, this one has a good amount of attack here, so this is an even better comparison. Here, this one. Here, let's do that again. And compare it to this one. That's such a cool sound. Okay, cool. So, last time here. Clearly a big difference. See, this one's so much more chill. This one's more in your face, in your business. And, again, we've already pointed out two other ways in which it variates. So, this is pretty cool, right? I mean, this simple chord progression is having so many little variations. I mean, these almost sound like different chords. Like, it's just a different sensation. And different sensation is variation. And variation keeps your interest. And this track keeps your interest for a long time. I mean, look at this. That's bold. That's confident, just to be like, you know what, we're just going to let the chords and bass line play forever. And we enjoy it. We're like, yeah, thank you. We'll keep listening. All right, so let's just keep listening again for a while. Okay, every time I try the butterfly keyboard, I'll stop complaining about it. It's just a mess. Okay, but basically, so the piano plays here. It's really nice. I know I really shouldn't be complaining. I have a nice Mac, but okay, the piano here is cool. It only happens once. I like it because when I hear this track, it makes me think of like being in a sunny, mystical field somewhere. Like it just gives me these images of like grassy fields with the sun, but in a mystical way. I don't know, it has something about it. But I like how this piano part comes in, and we're at 5 minutes 30 in the song basically, and 5:28 technically when it starts. And I like it because it has a lot of like this reverb on it, and it's pretty it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool sounding, and it just yeah, that there's your analysis there. It's dope. But yeah, it does have like a bit of that mystery vibe too, and I like how it only happens once. Like it's something about, I almost feel like it's like if I was playing a like Diddy Kong or some like video game where like you get to a certain level in like the boss's den and these new sounds happen. You're like, oh, we're a little deeper into it now. So I think I get a little of that with the piano. I'm like, oh, like we're getting this cool sound. Like we've really been in this track for a second, and now we're just going. We're gonna keep doing it. But yeah. All right, let's keep listening. Cool. So there you go. It fades out. And yeah, I know we could have talked about some things, but basically, the hat was moving. It was panning sometimes. It stopped panning. Kick comes back in. It's dropped out for a while. These are things, if you've watched any other of my videos, I just don't want to keep talking about the same things over and over and over again because, drums drop out, drums come back in, drums variate, for example, panning to no panning, no kick here, kick here. But yeah, I think the main things like I said, wanted to talk about with this track because I was particularly interested in how patient this track is. It's just it gets a lot with a little, and it makes a little a lot, you could say. I don't know, whatever. So you get it. And so basically, by the way, you could have ignored this more echo thing for the most part. I'll put a note earlier in the video when I edit this. But yeah, so again, this is just a cool track because it shows what you can do with a really nice chord progression when you variate it well and have like a nice little mood around it. So yeah, if you look at this in the grand scheme of things, you got a kick, offbeat, 16th note hat, the little hiss hat. That's all you got for drums. Bass line, chord progression, stay the same the entire time. A very simple 2-note melody, and then this little like piano thing, and then the crazy sample. So this is so simple. So if you have friends telling you out there that you need 100 tracks to make a cool track, then they're just wrong. They just are. So don't listen to them. But, don't listen to me either. I don't know. Just do your thing. I say that because, I don't know. I feel, like I said, I feel weird sometimes even commenting on these tracks because this is just my interpretation of the track. I do think what I'm saying makes sense. But if you think I'm throwing out some nonsense, comment below. Tell me, because, I just feel like a lot of times when you get deep into these tutorials, especially if you're a producer, people, I'm not, just, you gotta learn yourself, and you gotta, see, now I'm talking, whatever. Hopefully just like this video, okay? How about that? Let's just pause there. But yeah, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, please tell some friends, and yeah, we got the 1,000 subscriber special. It's gonna come, I think we'll hit 1,000 after this video pretty quickly, and yeah, I'm excited for it. I really appreciate y'all's support. So yeah, subscribe, tell a friend, follow me on Instagram, shoot me an email if you want MIDI files, and yeah, y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.